Hello grade 9, today we will take the last topic in our syllabus, thermal energy transfers by teacher Eman Abdrahim. Today in this chapter we will find out what is the three ways which we transfer heat with it: conduction, convection and radiation, and what is the meaning of conduction, convection, radiation, and how can we explain conduction, convection and radiation, and what is the difference between the good and bad emitters of radiation, and what is the home insulation. Our topic today we will take how is heat transferred. There is three ways heat can be transferred or can move: by conduction, convection and by radiation. Conduction. Conduction, it is a way to transfer heat. What is the meaning of conduction and what is the conductor? Conduction, it is the transfer of heat energy or electrical energy through a solid material without the material itself moving. What about the conductor? Conductor, it is a substance that transmits heat or allows an electrical current to pass through it. Materials classified into two types according to their conductivity into good conductors such as silver, copper, aluminium, brass, iron, lead, mercury, and bad conductors such as glass, wood, water, cotton wool, and air. If we have different metals rod and we heated them, the metal which heat up most quickly is the best conductor of heat. Although the water at the tube is boiling, the ice at the bottom remains solid. Why? Give reason. Look at this figure. Use a small piece of a metal gas to hold some ice at the bottom of the tube and fill the tube with water. Heat the water near the top of the tube. Why does the ice remain solid? Why does the ice remain solid? Why? Because the ice is in the water, which is an insulator. So it is bad conductor of heat. The second experiment shows which metal is the best conductor of heat. We have to bring different metals rod, have the same size, at their ends, put a wax and heated them. The best conductor is the metal on which the wax melts first. This figure shows the conduction of heat in the non-metals, such as a glass rod. This is a glass rod which is heated from one end and cooled from the other end. What about the energy flow here? It will flow from the hotter place to the colder place. Again, the thermal or heat energy will travel from the hotter place to the colder place because of the difference in the temperature between the two ends. Okay? Convection. Convection, it is the second way to transfer heat. Convection, again, it is the transfer of heat energy through a material by movement of the material itself. What is the convection currents? Convection currents are flowing fluid that is moving because of the difference in the temperature or the density within the material. This is an example of convection. This figure shows how the water moves to form a convection by spreading out the crystals of potassium manganate and acts as a purple color. Okay, so here the water here will move up and make a convection. Convection currents at work. In a fridge here in this figure, if we put here the freezing unit at the top, all the cold air will go from up to down and the warm air go from down to up. If we put the freezing unit at the bottom here, okay, what happened? The air remains here at the bottom and all the items at the top wouldn't be cooled. Both cold and hot objects produce convection currents. For example, many biting insects use this effect to detect a sleeping person and goes down straight on the sleeper. Convection experiments. Convection in a liquid and convection in gases, and what is the difference between them? At first, convection in a liquid. Fill a beaker here with a water and place here a small amount of crystals of potassium manganate on the bottom. And use this flame to heat the water. What happened? The color will move and show how the water is flowing here. What about the convection in gas? Set up this experiment as shown. Okay? Place here a candle flame which cause the warm air to rise up from the right hand. And the cold air here will flow down here from the left hand. Use a smoking length of string to show up the flow of the air. What is the difference between convection in liquid and in gas? Convection in gas is more than in liquid. Why? Because they expand much more when their temperature rises. Heat also can transfer by the third way, which is the radiation. What is the radiation? Radiation, it is an energy that travels in the form of waves, such as the electromagnetic radiation, which has no mass and travel in waves. What about the infrared radiation? The infrared radiation, sometimes called infrared light or heat radiation, which is the electromagnetic radiation with a wavelength longer than the visible light. Good absorbers and good emitters. How can we determine if the object absorbs or reflects the infrared radiation? We can determine it by its surface, okay? If it is good reflector, it will be bad absorber. For example, the shiny or the white surface is the good reflectors and bad absorbers. What about the matte black surface? The matte black surface is good absorbers and bad reflectors. We put the sunscreen here to reflect any unwanted radiation and not make the car hot. Which surface here will radiate better? Is it the black or the shiny surface? Let's carry out this experiment to show which one. Is it the black can or the shiny can? At first, we will bring two cans with a hot water. One is black and the other is shiny. Use here the thermometers to measure the temperatures. So, you can find out which surface is the better at absorbing the infrared radiation. Is it the black or the shiny? It is the black can. So the black object radiates more heat and reflects less than the white object. This is all the three mechanisms of the energy or the heat transfer: the conduction, the convection, and the radiation. We have to know at first that the thermal energy transfer or travel from the hotter place to the colder place. The first one, the conduction. Conduction here, it is the only way that the energy can pass or travel through the solids. So the energy travels through the solids, but the solids cannot move itself, okay? What about the convection? Convection, it is the main way which the energy transfer in the fluid. What about the radiation? The radiation, it is the only way that the thermal energy can travel through the empty space. Home insulation. What is the meaning of home insulation? First, we have to know what is the meaning of insulator. Insulator, it is any substance which doesn't conduct heat and electricity, okay? So, any substance which doesn't conduct heat and electricity is called insulator. We use it to avoid waste energy during the cold weather and prevent the houses from becoming hot during the warm weather. For example, we use the thick curtains to prevent cold air from entering and warm air from leaving. We use the underfloor insulating materials to prevent conduction of heat through the floors and ceiling. And we use the cavity walls to reduce the losses of the heat by conduction. And the foam which we fill the cavity with it, because it is bad conductor, okay? So the foam here to reduce the heat losses by convection. And we use double and triple glazing of windows. Why? To reduce heat losses. Convection, climate, and weather. Convection's currents explain the origins of winds and ocean's currents. Vacuum flask. What is the vacuum flask? Vacuum flask, it is a flask which used or designed to keep hot things hot and cold things cold by reducing the heat losses. It is consists of plastic cap. This is a double-walled glass container, and vacuum and silvered surface. And we put here the hot or the cold liquid.